Hello? Is this thing on? Oh my gosh, I didn't see you there. Well. I've been expecting you. Don't look at my pajama pants. Hello, hi, hey, it's been a while. I feel weird. Today I'm back to talk about books, of course. If you missed the 2 videos I uploaded in the past 3 months, you might not have known. Long story short, I went back to school in person for the first time since I started college at a new campus, and I've been staying closer to school. So, I uploaded a singular school vlog if you have any desire to check that out. Hopefully more soon, but no promises. Anyway, there's 3 months worth of wrap-ups that I want to talk about. I've been reading off and on as usual, but pretty consistently for the last 3 months, and I've read some really good books. Let's just begin. Enough with the chit chat. I'm going to pull up my Goodreads so I can see what happened here. We're gonna start with August. So first book I read way back in August, now one of my very favorites of this year, Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. If you don't know, this book revolves heavily around the pregnancy trope, which is not my favorite, but this one, so well done. I just love the characters. It follows Win and Bo, and they are just everything. I love their story. It starts off with them having a one-night stand on Halloween, and they never really intend to see each other again, but then, you know, obviously their lives end up being majorly intertwined because of this soon-to-be child, and it obviously just forces them to spend a lot of time together, and they become friends, and then of course they become more, and it is just so good. I just love the progression of strangers, this insta lust, strangers again, friends, and then more. It was everything. I love the writing, the characters. I loved it. One of my favorites. 5 stars. Can you believe it? And then after that, I started a new series, which I have yet to finish. The Runaway series. Is it called The Runaway? The Runaway Road Trip. This series by Devney Perry. Basically, this series consists of 5, I think, fairly short books, all revolving around road trips, kind of. It follows this group of people who were all runaway teens. They used to all live in this junkyard together because they ran away from home. Now they're all adults and all kind of gone their own ways. Each book follows a different one of them. I only read the first 2 books. The first one is called Runaway Road, and then a little later in the month I read Wild Highway. They were pretty cute. They were pretty quick. I listened to them on audio. Just not too memorable. I gave them each 3 stars. So pretty average, but not bad. This is another one I just can't believe I haven't talked about yet in a wrap-up, and that is Already Falling by Angelica Rose. This is my art copy. My friend Angelica, she wrote this book. I think I actually did read some of this in a vlog. This follows Annika and Reed, and it starts off when they are kids in elementary school, when they first meet, and it kind of follows their journey through college and into early adulthood. There's a lot of themes of self-discovery and following your dreams and kind of doing what you want to do. This book is just full of my favorite tropes. It's childhood friends to lovers, second chance, right person, wrong time, kind of a coming of age, self-discovery type of story, and I absolutely adored it. And also her friendship with her best friend Chloe was everything. I love them so much. I'm so excited for Chloe's book. Genuinely, I cannot wait because I loved Chloe so much, and their friendship was everything. And then by the end, there's this whole friendship group, and it is just so good. I really love this. I'm just so proud. I'm just so proud. Absolutely read this. It's on Kindle Unlimited, or you can snag a paperback. I give this 5 stars, of course. Next, I read Rootbound by Tara DeWitt. I listened to this, I believe. This is a small town romance. It follows this girl, I believe she's a photographer, and she gets this assignment to go back to her family's farm. She goes back to this ranch for this photography assignment. She meets this dude who works there. It's the grumpy dude who works on a ranch, and then the uptight California girl. Those were kind of the vibes. I wish I could remember more about this. I genuinely feel bad because I really liked it. I love Tara DeWitt's writing. She is definitely one of my new favorite authors that I discovered this year. I love like the small town vibes. All very fun. Had a great time. And that's it. Those are all the books I read in August. We're moving on to September. In the beginning of September, I read Next of Kin by Hannah Bonham Young. This book follows Chloe and Warren, and basically they end up kind of in this arrangement to live together. Chloe just found out that she has a little sister, like newborn baby. Her mother just gave birth. She doesn't really have a relationship with her mom, but her mom asks her to take the baby, and Chloe does. She's like fresh out of college, very young, doesn't know really how to handle a baby, but it is her little sister. It is her baby sister. So she's like, yeah. And then Warren is also guardian of his younger brother, but his brother is like 15. His younger brother is 15, so he's like a teenager. Anyway, they end up moving in together because they get kind of paired up in order to save money and help be able to take care of their younger siblings. That's basically what this book is about, and I absolutely adored it. This book was so sweet, and I really liked both Chloe and Warren. Warren definitely took a little bit of time to warm up to, as he was a little bit grouchy in the beginning. I do wish they didn't get together so quickly. If I can remember, I feel like they just got together a little quickly. But to be fair, this book is pretty short, like it's not even 300 pages. It was very sweet. I love all these characters. I love the writing. There's not much else to say. I gave it 4 stars and very much enjoyed reading this. After that, I picked up Same Time Next Summer by Annabelle Monaghan. I'm just gonna straight up tell you that I don't really remember anything about this book. I picked this up just because I wanted one last summery book. I bought this because I heard that it was like second chance, childhood friends to lovers, beach house, all things that I love in books, okay? However, I did not love this book. It was just not great. I gave it 3 stars, which is honestly pretty generous. If I were to rate this now, it's more of like a 2-star. But either way, just wanted to mention this quickly. Don't want to talk about it too much because I don't remember it too much. After that, things greatly improved for me because I read Next to You, once again, by Hannah Bonham Young. And this book was, once again, so good. This follows Lane and Matt, and it is just a wonderfully done friends to lovers romance, and I love friends to lovers. I actually feel like I don't read too many of them where they just like start out as friends as adults, they meet, they become friends, and then things escalate eventually. That was this. It was so good. And in the beginning, Lane actually buys this bus and Matt is a mechanic, so he helps her renovate this bus, and it is just so sweet. It is so sweet. I love him so much. Again, so sweet. He's just like a big softie and genuinely cares so much about her. And she's great too. Love her. I love her so much. They're both very much attracted to one another, but decide to just stay friends. But you know that never works out. Don't know if this series is ever gonna continue. I think it was supposed to be, but it might not anymore. I don't know. Love this. Love this author. 4 stars. Yes. Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. This is book 2 in the Dreamland Billionaires series. I need to finish this series, but I did make progress on it by reading book 2. This follows Declan and Iris. Declan is like this really rich billionaire guy, and in order for him to get his inheritance from his grandfather, he has to be married and have a baby, and he doesn't want that. But his assistant Iris is like, well, you gotta get your money. I'll do it. She's supposed to like find someone for him, but no one has worked out, so she's like, I'll do it. And that's it. Basically, Marriage of Convenience. He's very much a grumpy billionaire, which are 2 things that I do not love in a fictional man. I don't love it. I didn't love this book. I do really like Lauren Asher's writing, and I am gonna finish the series, and also I do want to read her new series that's coming out. I did really like Iris, but Declan, I just really did not like him at all. I don't know. Going into this, I had a feeling I wasn't gonna love it, and I didn't love it. But it's all good. Gave it 3 stars because it definitely wasn't a bad book. And again, I like Lauren Asher's writing. Speaking of books not for me, next I read Shucked by Kate Canterbury. And I didn't like it. This is the same author who wrote In a Jam, which I loved. Basically, this follows two characters. The dude is like this grumpy rich guy. Things are messy with the family, so he's back in town, Friendship, Rhode Island, which is the same setting of In a Jam. And then the girl is his best friend's younger sister. They don't like each other because he like picked on her as a kid. I did not really like this at all. There were too many characters, literally so many side characters. The two main characters and the romance felt like a side plot, and I just did not care about any of it. This was sadly a bust for me. Gave it 2 stars. After that, I read, this is Dusty, Hello Stranger by Catherine Center. I have read several Catherine Center books in the past and have genuinely enjoyed all of them. And this was her newest one. It follows this girl who ends up getting into this accident. I think she gets like hit by a car, if I can remember correctly. She has to get like this brain surgery, I think. And then when she comes out of it, she realizes that she can't recognize faces anymore. So she has face blindness, and she's a portrait artist. And so that really just like rocked her world, and not in a good way. It just kind of follows her. I'm so sorry, what is her name? Sadie. This really just follows Sadie and her journey through kind of how to deal with this new life. Yeah, there's some romance in here. This book was really sweet, and I really enjoyed the writing again, and I thought this was a really interesting story. Going into it, I really didn't know what it was about. I really liked it. Gave it 4 stars. After that, I read The Coworker by Frida McFadden. This is her newest release. This follows, what do you know, a couple co-workers. Basically, this woman works in sales for, what was it, like a wellness company? She has this one coworker who's a little kooky, a little weird. She's like always on time, always does this, has a routine and sticks to it, does the same thing every day. And then one day she notices that her coworker is missing, and she's like, that's weird. You know, I didn't hear anything. We were supposed to have this meeting today, but like she's not here. What's going on? So she goes to investigate. Things happen. Things happen. It is a thriller, so I don't want to like say too much. I think it's best to go into thrillers pretty much not knowing anything. This was very interesting. It definitely wasn't my favorite, but of course I read it so quickly, so fast. It was so entertaining, as always. I didn't like have a particular attachment to any of the characters. I thought they were all kind of like whatever. It was a very quick story, very interesting. Some good plot twists. That's that. What did I give that? 4 stars. Love a good Frida McFadden book. Very excited for more. Okay, and then to round off September, I finally read Hail Mary by Candy Steiner, which is the 4th and I believe last book in the Red Zone Rivals series. This is like her college football series. It's the one with Blindside in it. It did not disappoint, let me tell you. It did not disappoint. I've talked about this so many times, but I just love Candy Steiner's books. They're just so entertaining. They're good. They're really good. I really like her characters. They're fun. They're saucy. They're usually emotional. This was no exception. This follows Leo and Mary. They kind of knew each other when they were in high school. They went to the same school, but they knew each other like online because they would play video games together. And then basically something goes wrong, and then they like never speak to each other. And then fast forward, they are in college. Actually, only Leo is in college. Mary kind of lives in the college town, but she is a tattoo apprentice. She ends up having to move into their house with them because she's having like issues with the house she was renting. She didn't really have anywhere else to go. She's not like close with her parents or anything. She was like, well, I don't know, I'm not making much bank at this tattoo parlor. So she ends up moving in there. She remembers him, but he doesn't remember her. So there's like that kind of weird dynamic. She does not like him because of what happened in the past, but he has no idea. And he's like, why does she hate me so much? Like, he thinks he did nothing wrong. Yeah, this book was really good. There are some things that bothered me about it. The reason why she was so angry at him, I don't know, I don't want to say it was stupid, but it was a little stupid. Like, I don't know, it's just something that happened so quickly and so briefly when they were at such a young age. And the fact that she's like still mad about it, still holding a grudge over it. Maybe if we got more of their backstory, but the thing is we only got like one chapter from the past, so it felt very quick and very unserious, but both characters were like really holding on to what happens. But besides that, I genuinely enjoyed this. I liked both of the characters because she lives like with him and a couple other football players. There's like this friendship dynamic that ends up happening, and I really like that. And I don't know, I just really love this series. I think that this was a great end to it. What a great book. Love it. Love Kandi Steiner. I give this 4 stars. We are finally moving on to October, and this was a really good reading month for me. I feel like I read a lot, and I read a lot of good books. Wildfire by Hannah Grace was released, and I read it. Yes, I did. I read this. This book was one that I was anticipating, but it wasn't one that I was like so excited about, just because I did not love Icebreaker. Like I think Icebreaker was the first book I read this year, and it just like wasn't anything special to me. But I saw really good things about this. People who got ARCs earlier in the year, just like a lot of good things about this. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna read it. Plus the plot sounded really interesting. It's like camp counselor romance vibes. Very summery for a fall release, but it's all good. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, this follows Aurora and Russ. It starts off at the beginning of summer, end of the school year. They meet at a party, they have a one-night stand, and then she leaves. They end up going to this camp, and wow, surprise, surprise, they are both camp counselors at the summer camp for the whole summer, and it's like kind of awkward in the beginning. This was really good. I genuinely liked this a whole lot. I was kind of surprised how much I loved it. Like, I flew through it. It was super quick. Russ was everything to me. He was everything. These kind of characters are my favorite. Just like the sweet boys. Like, he was just so kind and caring and thoughtful and so good to her. It took me more time to grow on Aurora. Honestly, I didn't love her in the beginning, but character development and all that. This was very enjoyable. I give it 4 stars, and I am so excited for the next book, which is Henry's. It has been confirmed, and I cannot wait. Oh no. Oh no. Please hold. Okay, so after that, I read You with a View by Jessica Joyce. This was a book that was on my radar during the summer, and I finally picked it up. Going into this, I really had no idea what it was about. It's about this girl, and her grandmother just passed away. She finds this love letter that was written to her grandmother from this mystery guy. Wasn't her grandpa, it was some other dude, and she makes this TikTok about it, and it goes viral. She's like looking for this dude. She's like, hey, does anyone know this guy? Is this anyone's grandpa? Someone replies and is like, yeah, that's my grandpa. And so she meets with him, and it's the same guy who was her rival in high school, and now he's like this. What does he do? I don't know. He's like famous, but not really. He was like on a like magazine cover or something. I don't know what he does. Don't know. Long story short, the 3 of them go on this road trip that is identical to a road trip that her grandma and his grandpa went on when they were young. You know, it's like, oh, that's so sweet, but in the book she says that she wants to do this so she can go viral on TikTok again. You're just doing this because people saw your video and they're like invested in the story and you want to make bank on TikTok. So this whole book revolving around her making these TikToks and like finding out what grandma did with this dude. I don't know. And like, why was the grandpa on the road trip? I thought this was just gonna be them, but no, the grandpa was there. No, I don't know. I didn't like it. I don't know. I just thought this was kind of boring. I gave it 3 stars, but once again, don't think I would give it that high star rating now, but whatever. This was a dud for me, not a fan. So after that, I read In the Weeds by B.K. Borison. This is book 2 in the Lovelight series, and it follows Evelyn and Beckett, and Evelyn is like a travel influencer. If you read Lovelight Farms, then you know she was the person who like came to the farm to like, you know, review it, feature it in her blog. Beckett is like this grumpy kind of farmer guy, you know. So it's like, again, that kind of dynamic, grumpy, outdoorsy guy, social media influencer girl. But this takes place a little bit after that, and she ends up going back to this town because she's like kind of in a rut. She's not really having fun with her job anymore. She goes back to Lovelight Farms, where Beckett is. And oh, I forgot to mention, when she was there the last time, they had a one-night stand. You see a theme in a lot of these books, but she ends up staying with him because there's like nowhere else in town for her to stay, and you know the vibe. I really enjoyed this. Beckett is so sweet. He like has cats and ducks, and he like plants crops. You know, like a farmer, right? Yeah. He's a farmer. The reason I liked it so much, I think, is because it like gave massive Stardew Valley vibes, but instead of you being the hot farmer, it's like you going and dating the hot farmer. So that's why I loved it. Honestly, can't even lie. Beckett was just like so hot. I don't know. I really liked it. I give it 4 stars. And then after that, I finally read Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. I had bought this book in June, I think. I downloaded it on my Kindle in June, and then it sat there for 4 months, and then I just had the urge to read it. Cowboy romance. Simple as that. Small town, cowboy, brother's best friend. And it was so good. It was so good. This follows Emmy. She rides horses. She got injured. She goes back to the ranch where she grew up, where her family lives, and where her brother's best friend also lives. Luke Brooks, the man himself. He owns a bar. He also like works on the ranch. He's like kind of like an extension of their family. He used to be like kind of like a troublemaker, but like they've known each other for a long time. They've known each other like their whole lives basically. Anyway, she comes back. They get to talking, and they get to doing other things. Honestly, this book was just so much fun. Like, I had not had this much fun reading a book in so long. I was giggling the whole time. It's just like, the whole time I was reading this book. It was just so good. It was so good. Like, I literally have no complaints about it. No complaints. Like, yeah, they did get together kind of quickly. But like I said, they've known each other for like their whole lives. I loved it, and I literally cannot wait for the other books in the series. People are already reading the second one, getting arcs of it, and I've seen nothing but good reviews. Not even surprising. I'm so excited, and I will read anything that Lila Sage does next. 5 stars. Was not expecting to give this 5 stars going in. I don't know. I was just like, oh, cute, fun. Yes, cute, fun. Cute, fun, 5 stars. Loved it. Oh! And then after that, I read Caught Up by Liz Tomford. This released last month. I read it pretty much as soon as it released. This is part of the Windy City series, and it follows Kai and Miller. Kai is a professional baseball player. He's a single dad. He has the cutest kid. Kid's like 2 years old, so it's great. He can't really talk yet. And then it also follows Miller, who is like this high-end pastry chef. She's like very well known in the pastry world, and she's also Kai's coach's daughter. She ends up having a break from work for the summer because she's feeling uninspired. She's like, I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I hate my job right now. She like joins her dad, and she ends up kind of like traveling with them, and that's where she meets Kai. She ends up becoming the new nanny for Kai's son. It's just so good. I loved Kai and Miller so much. I thought they were so good together. The found family in here, because we got like little scenes of their friendship group of like Indy and Ryan, and then Stevie and Xander's from the first 2 books. I loved everything about this. I give it 5 stars. I don't know. It was just so good. And I cannot wait for the 4th book to come out, because it follows Kai's brother, and I loved him. Like I said, the side characters were all very good. And again, this is another author who I will read anything from. Mixed Signals. This is the 3rd book in the Lovelight series. Once again, it takes place in Lovelight Farms. It follows Layla. She is the the town baker, and also Caleb. They both kind of like really struggle with dating and just are not good at it. I guess they end up making this deal to like pretend date, but it's not like fake dating. They are going on practice dates, I guess. Not really like fake dates, but it's like practice. They practice going on dates with each other, so they are more prepared for future dates with other people. But this book didn't really hit for me. I don't know, I feel like I just read it too soon after Caught Up, and I could not stop thinking about Caught Up. Also, she's a baker. It wasn't bad. I really liked the setting, the small town. I liked seeing all the characters from the previous books again. But it just like didn't really do much for me. Give it 3 stars. Not bad. Not great. I'm looking forward to the next book, however. I will be reading it. I read The Long Game by Lena Armas. This is her newest release. This follows Adeline, and she worked for this soccer team. I don't know, her dad is her dad the manager? I don't know. She like works for him, and then basically a video of her ends up going viral where she's like attacking this mascot, and her dad basically shuns her and sends her away like the middle of nowhere, and she ends up assisting this new team. Turns out to be youth girls soccer team, so they're like little kids, and the coach is this like ex soccer player. He used to be like really famous, but he's like kind of laying low because he got injured. Anyway, they end up coaching and managing this girls' soccer team together. Honestly, I didn't really like this book. It just was really boring to me. I didn't care about any of the characters or the plot or anything. Just very sad. I don't know, the last 2 Elena Armas books just were not hits for me. I don't know. The first one was great. Absolutely loved it. Second 2 did absolutely nothing for me. I didn't care. Thought it was boring. Gave it 2 stars. Quite unfortunate, but whatever. Final book for this wrap up, and that book is none other than Flawless by Elsie Silver. I finally started the series, which has been on my radar for the past year. Ever since this first book was released, I've been wanting to read it, and I just never have. I don't know, once again, got so popular that I was like, never mind, I don't want to read it. Follows Rhett and Summer. Rhett is this professional bull rider, but no one really takes him seriously. Basically, he kind of like finds himself in a bit of a trouble. He just like needs someone to keep him in check, make sure he, you know, doesn't lose any of his sponsors or anything. And that's where Summer comes in. Summer is his manager's daughter. She like ends up living with him on his ranch just to like kind of, you know, babysit him. She's the babysitter. And so he really doesn't like her at first because he's like, dude, I'm a grown man. Like, I do not need a babysitter. And she's like, I don't know, man, this is just my job. Like, they end up really getting to know each other and really falling for each other. You know how it goes. It's a romance book filled with all the cowboy country vibes. I don't know if I was necessarily in the exact mood for this. I think I was just trying to like fill the gap that Done and Dusted left in my heart. But I really enjoyed my time reading this. I'm very excited to read the rest of the series now that's all out, all done. You can't see, but I have them all. I'm looking forward to reading more. It was good. It was good fun. Wow, okay, there we have it. That was my wrap up for the months of August, September, and October. I reckon that I will do November and December, and the next month, beginning of January. So stay tuned for that. I also really want to work on getting more vlogs up. I have been filming bits and pieces of what I've been up to in these last few months, but I just... the problem is I have to edit it, and I do not like editing anything. So maybe you'll see that, maybe you won't. I don't know, whatever. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See ya sometime. Goodbye.